You're listening to the Staging Sips podcast with Lori Fisher. This podcast is dedicated to helping real estate staging CEOs build healthy businesses that grow, flow, and thrive. Hello. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm super duper happy to be with you. And I don't know what you're doing right now, but right now I am in a quiet house. Nobody is home. It's late-ish at night here in the suburbs of Philadelphia. I'm in my jammies and I'm hanging out with you. So anyway, I hope whatever you're doing, it is amazing. Today we have a topic that I don't think I've covered yet on the SIPs, and that is we're going to be talking about how to create core values for your business. And this came up probably like 6 weeks ago inside of the Staging Business School Accelerate group coaching program, the topic of core values. And I realized I hadn't shared anything about that here. So this is a great topic for that business owner that is sitting in either currently you've got staff and you're struggling to get people to align on things. You might have some attitude adjustments and things like that going on. And it's also great if you are thinking about starting to hire. So this may not be for those of you who are in the earliest stages of your business. Your core four are meeting people, telling them that you're a stager, letting them know how you can help them and staying in touch with them, like making offers and all that good stuff. Those are your core four things. You don't need to worry about core values. But my accelerating business owners, you for sure do. So before we dive into that though, I do want to let you know a couple of things. At the time of this recording, fall of 2024, we have filled our private coaching slots for the fall. That doesn't mean that you cannot get on the waiting list though for when January rolls around and we open up more slots. So if you are interested in being on the waiting list for private coaching with me, if the podcast has really helped you and you want to dive even deeper, run your business through the Fix It protocol and, get yourself extricated from the day to day, clean up your systems and processes, then we will put the, link to the application in the show notes for you. And you can go ahead and fill that out and we can get you rolling in the process to see if you're a good fit for when we open up our new coaching spot. So that's the first thing I wanted to let you know. The second thing is, if you are that accelerating or accelerated business owner, and by that, I mean the business owner that you have been operating pretty much on your own. You are the lead stager in your business. You're doing all the things, but you are finding that your calendar is getting booked to the point where you are not able to return phone calls in a timely manner. You're probably working late at night to follow up with people on the weekends, things like that. You're getting, you have phone calls and texts coming in while you're on installs or in appointments for consults and things like that. If you are hitting that part or you have team and you feel like you are clunky and miserable in that process of having team, come join us and Accelerate. If you feel like group is better for you than private, it is an amazing community. And at the time of this recording, it is still open enrollment. You can join us whenever you want. That is likely to change at some point. And you have lifetime access to everything, all the calls, all the content, all the updates, all the stuff. So don't struggle. Come join us. We've got amazing business owners inside of Accelerate who would love to work with you and cheer you on and help you grow your business. So a little bit of housekeeping there. And again, that link is in the show notes for you. All right. So let's dive into our core values. What is it? Why should you have it? All that good stuff. So why did this topic even come up? So like I said, about 6 weeks ago inside of the group coaching program, one of our business owners had said that she was really struggling. She has multiple stagers. She has one lead stager, and then she has a team of movers. But she was really struggling because it had really seemed that her lead stager, so a leader in her organization, was just bringing a negative vibe to the company and kind of just a Debbie Downer. No offense to any Debbies out there, but just kind of a Debbie Downer. And she was wondering what she should be thinking about when it came to like, should she have a conversation with this person? Maybe there's something going on. And I had asked her if she had core values for her company, and she didn't. And the reason I asked her that was because core values can really help companies align, and it can help you so much when you have to have a difficult conversation with somebody who is not towing the line or fulfilling the vision that you have for your business. So the first thing I recommended to her was going to get the book Traction by Gino Wickman. We'll put that link in the show notes. But because I'm in my jammies and it's nighttime, I'm going to read from this book to you, because the way they describe core values, I really couldn't do it any better than they have done it. So what are your core values? What are core values? They are a small set of vital and timeless guiding principles for your company. A good rule of thumb is to limit them to somewhere between 3 and 7. As always, less is more. These core values define your culture and who you truly are as people. When they are clear, you'll find they attract like-minded people to your organization. You will also find that when they are applied in your organization, they will weed out the people that don't fit. Once they're defined, you must hire, fire, review, reward, and recognize people based on these core values. This is how to build a thriving culture around them. So this is super, super eloquent here, and it is absolutely true in practice. Our core values are our guiding principle in our business, and they do really help you when you are reviewing team members. You can point right back to the core values, and that's how you're going to review your team members, right? So that's the basis for your performance evaluations. If someone's to get a bump in pay or anything like that, it's based on the core values that you've identified. But it really gives your company a unifying vision. And when you are that accelerating business owner and you're still somewhat in that manager/coach role, a good set of core values can really help you. And, professional coaches do this all the time, right? Like they have kind of guiding principles for how they're going to handle their season, or in general, how they're going to work with each other, so this is really kind of a coach mentality. You're developing your people, you're developing them in alignment with the vision that you have for your company. And then when you have people who can't seem to stick to that and follow those core values, then you have a great conversation where you can just say, hey, listen, I know that we've all signed off on these core values, and here's what I'm noticing. Is everything okay? Are you going to be able to align to these core values? Because if you're not, like, no harm, no foul, you just might not be a good fit here. And I just want to make sure that we are in alignment on our core values. It is that important to me. So the great thing was that the business owner inside of our coaching program, she got the book. And she has access in Accelerate to the core values meeting template, and went through and created her core values. And she said she noticed almost immediately a shift in the attitudes of her team members. And they were even saying like, oh, look at you following core value, blah, blah, blah. Right. So it is really a great way to get team alignment. So I'm going to walk through with you a little bit of the process that they outline here in the book, and share with you how we kind of walked through and created our core values here at Rethink. So the first thing is you're going to set aside some time. So if you need these core values, and again, if you're brand new in business or really early in business, don't worry about this one yet. You can bookmark it for later. But you're going to set some time aside to do this, probably 90 minutes for your first go around. And in the book, it says to do this with your leadership team. Now, you may not have a leadership team. That's okay. You can do it with, on your own. You can do it with a business bestie. You could do it with a significant other. You could do it with a friend whose opinion you value. You could hash it out inside of a group coaching program if that's what you want to do, if that's important to you. So the first thing you'll do is set aside the time for the meeting. So if you do have a leadership team, whether that's your lead stager or an operations person, then that's what you'll do. And that's who I did that with. It was with Catherine and Lisa. So my office queen, my operations admin person, and Lisa, my lead stager and lead trainer. So we came together and went through this process. So step one was, before the meeting, for each of us to identify 3 people, and they could be people inside of the organization, which is the ideal if you can do that inside. So somebody inside of your organization, or somebody you know, or somebody you don't know, but you aspire to them. That if we could clone them, or you could clone them, they could lead you in the right direction in your business. So, like in one example, Lisa had written down Brene Brown, and she wrote down what she liked, why she thought Brene Brown and her personality and what she teaches could be very powerful in moving our business forward. And it included things like resilience, personal growth, and, accepting others where they are and meeting them where they are, and all of that, which for a trainer in my company, I was so happy to see her thinking about those things and valuing those things. Right. So that's what you're going to do. So step one is just to write down 3 people that, if you could clone them, could really lead your business in the right direction. Step 2 is for each of those people to write a list of characteristics that they embody. What do they do that puts them on the list, right? So like I just mentioned with Brene Brown. So here are some examples of things that, could make the list for somebody. Maybe they always strive to do their best. They are always reaching for excellence. They've got a growth mindset. They're a team player. They're always looking to pitch in. They help first. They're fun. They are compassionate. They're kind with your clients. They're careful with your inventory, right? Like those are attributes that you might find on your list. So, and there are so many more, right? They're willing to go the extra mile. They are willing to please clients, all that stuff. They're flexible. I mean, we could go on and on and on. So that is your step 2, is to just, for each one of those people, write down the characteristics that they have that you value. Step 3 is then to go through all of the characteristics you've written down for each of those people, and then narrow those down to the things that are truly important to you and combine things that are similar. So if we have somebody who has a growth mindset is written down, and somebody who's always willing to learn, those are kind of the same thing. So we would combine those, right? So those are kind of the first 3 steps. And then it'll start to really begin to crystallize what your core values are, because essentially what you're doing is, when you're narrowing down to those really core things and you're combining things that are similar, you're starting to actually create your core values list. And you just repeat that step 3 of combining and narrowing down until you get to between 3 and 7 core values. So for us, we landed on, and it probably won't surprise you that our core values are some of the ones that we have based on listening to the podcast. So the first is create Zen. And by this, we meant to be compassionate, non-judgmental, and humble. This was really important to us. We once had a team member that really struggled with the humility part, and non-judgmental. When we are working as a team together, one of the things that we are allowed to do is to tweak each other's work as we go. And I'm sure you and your teams see that all the time on an installation. Something maybe just needs a little tweak left, a little tweak right, maybe a little, put closer together, spread further apart, whatever it is. But we're allowed to do that for our work. And that is not seen as a judgment. It's just seen as like trying to get the very best finished product, right? But we had somebody on our team who really struggled with that. And in the end, The conversation we had was that we thought that maybe we weren't a right fit for this person. And sure enough, that was what she needed to hear to go find a new path for herself. And it actually relieved our team of a lot of negativity and struggle and stress at the time. So creating Zen was the first one. Then spreading lightness and positivity. This is super important to us. Spreading lightness and positivity to our direct real estate clients, to our seller clients, to ourselves internally, to our investors, all of that. We just want to spread lightness and positivity because we know the energy that we are bringing to a project comes back in the form of results. Be willing to dance. Quote unquote dance. This is the ability to be flexible, resilient, doing the most with what we have, kind of shape shifting. That's where we kind of came to that, was be willing to dance and be willing to dive in. We are a team of people who there is no diva. There are no divas at Rethink. Just as I'm sure that is the case in your business, just be willing to dive in and pitch in where needed. We wanted people to zoom in and zoom out. We wanted people to be detail-oriented, visionary, strategic, and growth-minded. That was kind of where we landed with that. So zoom in on the details, but zoom out, big picture. Like at the end of the day, where do we want to head and how do we want people to feel in general? And we want people to be growth-minded, that kind of zoom out and like, how can I learn from this, right? Like, diving in on the details of actual installs and things like that, but then zooming out for all the other. We wanted to be organized, efficient team player. That was our last one. So we have create Zen, spread lightness and positivity, be willing to dance, be willing to dive in, have the ability to zoom in and zoom out, and be an organized, efficient team member. So those are our core values at Rethink. You can certainly make yours easier, more memorable. And if you don't have a good sense of what core values you want to have, you can certainly borrow these. I actually borrowed a bunch from Zappos in the beginning. I read the book by the founder, Tony Hsieh, about Zappos and what their core values are. And I loved them. So I borrowed them and tweaked them for our business before I actually had team, so that when I brought on Catherine and Lisa eons ago, I at least had a small little functioning core values that I could share with them that could help direct how we grew the business. So then the last step is you're going to sit on this for 30 days before finalizing and making sure it feels right. And then you'll roll it out to your team. And then you are going to use it and talk about it and use it for your performance evaluations. You'll use it for feedback loops. If you've got, a lead stager who's kind of that manager trainer, they will also use that with their stagers. So it is a beautiful tool. So if that is something you are interested in, go grab that book, Traction by Gino Wickman, and it will walk you through that, in addition to lots of other great ways to set the vision for your people and your company moving forward. It is an outstanding book and one of my favorites. All right, everybody, that is your sip for the week. I will see you next time. Bye for now. Thank you so much for listening to the Staging Sips podcast. If you love what you've learned here today, please take a minute to rate and review it so more staging business owners can find us. And if you want to learn more about how to market and grow your staging business more strategically, I'd love to see you join us inside of the Rethink You Accelerate Mentorship Program. It is open enrollment. You can get more details at rethinkhomeinteriors.com/rethinkyou. Would love to see you inside.